A dog returned from a walk carrying a severed hand.
911, what's your emergency?
The family was terrified and immediately called the police. To confirm if it was real, the operator asked the owner to examine it. Shaking with fear, the owner couldn't muster the courage to check, but their bold daughter picked it up without hesitation.
Definitely.
Once confirmed to be a real hand, the operator instructed them to preserve it in a thermal container. When firefighters arrived, they inspected the hand and noticed the rough, jagged cut, likely caused by an explosion. Upon learning fireworks had been set off nearby, they began questioning neighbors door to door. Despite searching the entire neighborhood, they couldn't locate the owner of the severed hand. Just as they were puzzling over its origin, a suspicious man suddenly appeared and snatched the hand away.
Not it.
The firefighters gave chase, and the man, exhausted, soon collapsed. His own hand appeared to be missing a finger, but his plea was unexpected. He begged them to save his friend. It turned out that the two had been engaging in a reckless fireworks battle when disaster struck. Fearful of punishment for illegal fireworks, they hadn't reported the incident. The friend's condition was critical, prompting the firefighters to administer emergency treatment to stop bleeding and prevent infection. After their efforts, the injured friend finally regained consciousness. Suddenly, he pulled out a severed finger from his pocket, claiming it belonged to his friend. However, when the firefighters compared it, they realized it was a thumb, not the middle finger his friend was missing.
There's another victim.
All right, we're gonna have to start another search. Dispatch, this is Captain Nash 118 again. I think we're gonna need a third ambulance.
Things just keep on getting weird.
911, what's your emergency?
A girl's nose was completely sliced off by a drone. Do you realize how dangerous drones can be when flying through crowds? On Christmas Eve, a drone was zipping around a restaurant, capturing romantic moments of couples. However, as a pair of servers, also a couple, argued over trivial matters, an accident occurred. When firefighters arrived, their first priority was to locate the severed nose. The captain reassured the girl that the cut was clean and could be reattached, as long as they found the missing tissue and preserved it in ice. The boy, trying to comfort her, promised he would love her even without a nose. But the girl's only concern at the moment was getting her nose back. Finally, her nose was found, and she could regain her beautiful face. At the crash scene, as soon as the firefighter approached the driver, he caught a strong whiff of alcohol. Clearly, the man was either drunk or crazy. Just as he was about to check the driver's vitals, the man suddenly woke up. Spotting the flashing police lights, he instinctively restarted the engine and fled, guided purely by muscle memory.
Oh, whoa, whoa, do not do that! Oh my God!
Seeing his teammate taken along for the ride, the firefighter quickly grabbed a bicycle and pedaled after them. While following directions from the control center, he cut corners and took shortcuts, zigzagging through the streets.
Look for yourself!
What the hell? Who is that?
That is you! In need of medical attention! Which I will give you if you pull over and stop the car!
Finally, he managed to get ahead of the driver and block his path. His daring move startled both the driver and his teammate into screaming. Fortunately, the driver reflexively hit the brakes. In the end, the driver was taken to the hospital for treatment and then sent straight to jail. A man climbs a tree to retrieve a kite.
I got it!
911, what's your emergency?
Not long ago, a father and his daughter were flying a kite when it accidentally got stuck in a tree. Feeling guilty, the daughter kept blaming herself, which made the father determined to climb the tree and retrieve it for her, completely ignoring the risks. As the daughter shouted from below, urging him to be careful of the power lines, the father boasted that climbing trees was as easy as a cat's leap for him.
I got it!
When firefighters arrived at the scene, they found the father stuck among the branches. However, they didn't take immediate action because he confessed to having a fear of heights. He was frozen in place, afraid to move, not wanting his daughter to hear and think less of him. The captain understood, noting that every father wants to be a superhero in their child's eyes. With encouragement, the father mustered the courage to face his fear. He carefully made his way down, step by step.
Oh my God!
During a pressure test on the sewer pipeline, an explosion occurred. The driver of the red car that was blasted into the air miraculously came out unscathed, but the chaos triggered a series of car accidents. 2 people were trapped in a car as water from the sewer rapidly flooded the interior, putting their lives in imminent danger.
Please help us! We're stuck! We're stuck!
Firefighters quickly smashed the car window, intending to help them escape through the sunroof. However, the woman's leg was pinned under the steering wheel. The man, her boyfriend, refused to leave, declaring he would stay by her side to face life and death together. Since rescuing the man first would create space to save the woman, he reluctantly agreed to leave. A firefighter crawled into the car to try and move the steering wheel, but it wouldn't budge. The woman's leg continued to bleed. With both doors blocked by other vehicles, the only option was to drag the trapped car out. The firefighters worked seamlessly to tow the car free. Once clear, they quickly opened the door. The medic rushed to assess the woman's injuries.
Luckily, it missed your femoral. I think we can cut it right off. The wheel, not the leg.
I got another one!
An observer rescued an injured victim only to be berated by the captain.
What you did back there was reckless and stupid.
That woman was in danger. She was trapped in the car. She needed my help.
During a recent car accident rescue, the fire observer spotted an unconscious woman in another car. Without informing the rest of the team, he recklessly acted on his own to save her. The captain wasn't pleased at all. Instead, he looked furious. Yet the observer remained oblivious, believing he was a hero for saving someone.
She was strapped by the airbag. No signs of bleeding. Possible internal injuries.
Did you check her vitals?
No?
How about for any head injuries?
I got her out of the bloody car.
Basking in the praise of others, he felt immensely proud of himself. Back at the fire station, the captain immediately unleashed a torrent of criticism.
And if she'd had a spinal injury and you carried her around like that, you could have paralyzed her.
All right.
That's why we always put people in seat collars before we move that.
Okay.
You are an observer here. You want something to do, you can start by washing and waxing that bumper, because until I say otherwise, that is where you will be when we head out on every call. Understood?
Only then did the observer realize that firefighting and rescue work are far more complex than they appear. Having the will to save lives is admirable, but doing so without proper coordination and planning can backfire, endangering both the rescuer and others. Do you think the observer was right to act on his own?
Yes, Captain.
A man wouldn't even dare to dream of this. A 100-meter tree stood up and pressed him down. Moments earlier, the man had ignored a forest ranger's distant warnings and ventured into a tree pit to inspect the roots. A fierce gust of wind swept through. The 100-meter tree that had been uprooted and lying on its side miraculously stood back up, trapping him underneath. Firefighters arrived and were stunned by the bizarre scene. Peering through a narrow gap, they spotted the man's foot. He was still alive. Using metal rods and ropes, they worked to topple the tree again.
1, 2,
3! Come on!
By then, the man had lost his pulse due to massive internal bleeding. They immediately began emergency treatment.
Yeah, he and I have been bird watching since we were kids.
Preparing to shock. Clear.
No conversion, I'm going again.
Clear.
The man eventually regained a pulse. He was quickly transported to the nearest hospital. But seriously, can we talk about how absurd it is for a fallen tree to just stand back up like that?